What's the address of your property?
301 Southwestern.
Good morning. Welcome to the June 7th meeting of the Riverfront Design Committee. Paula, roll call.
John Joyce.
Here.
Scott Howard.
Here.
Michelle Dean. Here. Jonathan Heisel.
Present.
Don Kasperite. Barbara Larson. Here. John Postick.
Here.
Dana Templeton. Here. Mike Voorhees. Here. You have a quorum.
Thank you. Has everyone had a chance to look over the minutes from our last meeting, which was a long time ago? Would entertain a motion to approve the minutes. Do you have a second? Second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay, the minutes are approved. Item number 3, cases withdrawn. We have none. Item number 4, continuance requests. We have none. Item number 5, consent docket. We don't have anything on the consent docket. So that takes us to the main event, item number 6, cases for individual consideration. SRCA-18-000009 at 301 Southwestern Avenue.
Good
Laura,
morning.
you want to talk about that? Yeah.
This is a request to install a 10-foot tall electrified security fence inside an existing chain link fence. This is the Blumenthal location, Western Exchange, which several people are probably familiar with. As I said, the chain link fence is existing. I included the history of the site. The chain link fence was installed prior to the establishment of the Scenic River Design District, so that is why it is considered a legal fence. Part of the fence, when you look at the piece that's on Exchange, they have a revocable, so yes, it is in the right-of-way. It is legally within the right-of-way. It's been granted permission by the city to be at that location. So the application that they're wanting to install is because, and I've included some pictures, they are repeatedly getting their fence cut, and they're having to repair the fence almost on a weekly basis, sometimes more than once a week. And what I wanted to flip to is I also had included some pictures that I happened in driving to this location, went by one of their other locations that has one of these electrical fences installed. So I wanted to include pictures so that we all would know what exactly it looks like. And as I stated in the staff report, the horizontal wires are very thin and they kind of just disappear. So what you basically are seeing are the vertical supports for it that are on the inside. This happens to be down, I think it's on 4th Street, not that far off of Walker, believe it or not. And I was actually trying to figure out how to get from Walker over to their other location with all the roads being closed, which is how I stumbled upon this one. And then I went back and went, oh, I need to take these pictures because this shows what this fence is going to look like. Because although we have drawings, it's hard to tell what the fence is going to look like. So in the staff report, we pointed out the guidelines, which is why this is before you, dealing with the height. We have a guideline for 6 feet. the underlying zoning district on this location, there on Western, allows fences up to 10-foot tall because it's zoned industrial. So I pointed that out in the staff report as well. And this is also before you because of the construction, the material proposed for this fence, which is the single-strand electrical wires, the horizontal wires, and then the vertical posts. It's an existing business that has been in place for quite some time. I included the history of when they bought it. And they're needing to continue to operate and protect what they have inside that fence, which is a lot of equipment. So staff is including a recommendation for approval and discussion of all of these guidelines. It is zoned industrial. It's in an industrial area. So this is not an unexpected application, I would say, of a fence at that location if you have things that need to be protected. We have the fence company, their representative is here, as well as the Blumenthal's representatives are here if you have questions for them.
How tall is the existing chain link fence?
The existing chain link fence, I believe, is 8 foot tall. And so the tallest strand would be a couple of foot above that, which essentially is, okay, let me point this out. This post that I have the hand on is the post for the electrical fence at this application. And so the tallest wire, and I'm running my handle on it because you can't really see it, is up here to the next post. That's the post for the electrical fence. So you can see how that is set inside the chain link fence at that location. So it's going to essentially look very, very similar to this, probably identical to this.
I have another question. Typically, the vertical support posts, are they usually aligned with the existing fence posts?
I'm going to defer to the fence guy if you'd identify yourself for the record.
Hello, thank you for having me this morning. My name is Michael Pate. I'm with the Electric Guard Dog, Columbia, South Carolina. And yes, we usually try to do that. Usually in a situation like this, you're looking at 10-foot panels. We have the support post every 30 feet. So every third support post for the perimeter fence, we'll have one right behind it. Really, the only reason you can see the fence, as you see here, is the signs, and even here, you really have to get really close to see the signs. So every 10 meters, which is about 32 feet, we actually have a warning sign up that says caution electric fence in English and Spanish with the international sign for shock, which is a hand on a lightning bolt. So that's what's up there.
And I might point out that I'm kind of parked right next to the fence. You catch the front of my truck there. And I am not in the road. I probably should have taken a picture from the road for the view as you drive by. I'm actually between the curb and the fence. But this view, you can see I'm further away. And yes, you see that vertical and this vertical, but you can barely see any of the horizontal for the electric fence. It really just disappears.
Yeah, I just think from an aesthetic standpoint, it would be great if you could align your vertical post with.
We can make sure we do that.
Yeah.
There's no problem with that, Mr. Howard.
Yeah.
Any questions about how it operates? Okay. It's 7,000 volts. Now, that's a little scary, but if you realize that we basically operate off a 12-volt battery or two 6-volt batteries, we're never connected to the electrical infrastructure at all. So the entire apparatus is operated on 12 volts. A couple of solar panels keep those 12-volt batteries running, so we're never, ever hooked up to the electrical infrastructure. If the power goes out, which I saw a big thunderstorm before I came in here, I live in South Carolina, we get the same things, take trees out and take out the power, we're still up and running protecting this property.
And an electrical fence is allowed in this zoning district, I-2. That was one of the first things. I went down to the 8th floor to confirm that it's allowed because of the zoning. Because we don't see many electrical fences in downtown, in Scenic River or in downtown.
What's the spacing of the wires? Is that showing up on here some? Not that it matters.
It shows up on, does it
Basically,
show up
what
one
it
of
is
these
they're about
pages?
4 inches apart
On that.
to about 4 feet, because everyone is trying to, in a chain link situation, they're trying to cut the chain link to go in. They're not going over the top. So we're about 4 inches apart up to about 4 feet. After that, we separate the wires about 8 inches or so. Chain link is usually about 10 or 12 gauge wire. We're at 14, so we're a little bit thinner, and we're about the same color. That's why it just disappears behind it. You really can't see it at all.
Will you be installing this on the existing gate?
Yes. We also put on the gate. Now, on the gate, we dress it on the gate. So basically, we put some insulators on the gate, put the electric fence on the gate, and we have to have it fairly tight in there. When I say tight, about 3 or 4 inches. Usually when we're on a gate, especially, I think in Blumenthal, you guys have a chain-driven gate? It's just a push. It's a push? It's push on rollers, even more of a reason to get it up there tight, because if it starts tilting a little bit, it's a little heavy, it might take the whole thing down. But you have to have it on the gates, too. It's just a little bit tighter on it.
Because you've got multiple gates. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me make this bigger.
And that's like having
Because
alarm.
that's the push gate you're talking about. I think that's the one that's on,
Yeah.
where am I, Exchange.
The roll gate.
Yeah.
So you don't extend the height of the gate at all?
No.
What does the solar panel look like?
Just a typical solar panel. It's about 2.5 feet by 4 feet.
And how often do you have them mounted? How often are they?
Well, I have 2 of them mounted on our control boxes. Keep going.
Well, those are the 3 pages.
Okay,
So is it on one of these?
No, it's not. I don't see it there, no.
Okay.
So basically what we'd have is 3 control boxes. They're about the size of the top of this podium. The control boxes have the batteries in them, the alarm panels, and the energizers. We also do everything wirelessly, so we never have a hard wire. Everything's done wirelessly now. So that sits in the yard in a specific place where we can actually get to the sun. The shade, any kind of shade that's thrown on a solar panel, just a little bit, like 10% on a solar panel will take 90% of the efficacy off that panel. So we have to have it out in the sunshine. So we have 2 solar panels sitting on top of those 3 boxes that basically catch the sun and keep everything running.
Any more questions, anybody? Any discussion? Does anybody in the audience want to say anything against this? Okay. At this point, I guess we would entertain a motion. Do we have a second? Second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay.
Thank you.
Approved. Okay, item number 7 is other business. We have none. Item number 8 is communications. Anything on there that particularly want to talk to us about? No? Do we have any comments from the planning department staff?
Yes, we have a meeting next month. It happens to fall on July the 5th. So I need you guys to check your calendars. You'll be getting an email from us probably the 1st of next week, because we want to see if we have a quorum or if we're going to have a problem with that and have to schedule a special meeting. So, sorry, but July 4th falls where it does. The one item on the agenda will probably just be on consent. We have a mural, and murals by department policy is to take all murals to the design committee. So it's should be a very meeting. I don't want to say that out loud because I don't want to jinx it. So.
Okay, real good. Do any of the board members have any comments? We just talked about our next meeting date, so I guess we're adjourned.
Thanks for coming out in the rain.
I made it through a whole meeting without you having to slap my hand.
Thank you all for coming in just for us. Thank you very much. I'm going back for it. Laura, thank you very much. It's a pleasure to meet you. Mike? Thanks. Connor? Yeah, but Ian, you were there. Yeah, but Chesapeake, we were doing all our stuff, all our CMG on the big rigs. Cool technology. That was the first one. Well, it was fun until you had to walk 10 miles. Thank you again, Laura. We appreciate you very much. All right. I've got